All right, BAD 2140, welcome to week 2. I can't believe that the end of this week, the due date for assignments of this coming week, falls on 1 November. All right, so each of you should be logged into the class, logged into MindTap. You should have a routine down where you're reading the chapters, reviewing the PowerPoint slides, and you're tackling the different assignments for the week. I did check this afternoon. There's still a handful of you that have not registered in MindTap. And I must remind you that you cannot successfully complete this class without using MindTap. Also, as you know, it's a short 7-week semester, a mini semester. So we're going to be covering a lot of turf in a short amount of time. So make sure that you get engaged early and you complete your assignments quickly. All right. So this week we're going to cover chapters 2 and 3. In chapter 2, we're going to look at external environments that the firm faces. We'll talk about 2 elements of the SWOT, or strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. And we're going to look at the external factors of opportunities and threats. We're going to look at the firm's external factors in a few different ways. We're going to look at them in the general environment, those things that impact society as a whole and the industries that operate in that society. A good example is the COVID-19 pandemic that we're experiencing right now. This impacts all businesses. Now, we'll also look at the industry environment, or those things that directly impact the type of business that the firm is in. As an example, the impact on the restaurant business has been extremely different than the impact on online sales throughout this whole pandemic. And therefore, they have to have a different strategy moving forward to overcome the issues that they're facing. Now, lastly, we're going to look at the competitor environment, or those things that impact firms like yours that are in direct competition. So if we continue with this COVID-19 example, if you own a carryout business, a food carryout business, your issues and challenges are much different than if you owned an upscale sit-down restaurant. So your strategy to overcome the challenges will be completely different. Now we're going to talk about how we'll analyze these elements by using the 4-part process of scanning and monitoring, forecasting, and assessing. In chapter 3, we'll cover the internal organization, resources, capabilities, core competencies, and competitive advantage. And we'll talk about what's critical to the business, its core competencies, and how that drives decisions made within the organization. Now, following up on the SWOT analysis we discussed in chapter 2, we'll look internally and see what strengths and weaknesses an organization has. In the strengths, we'll identify a company's competitive advantage. What sets them apart? As a company identifies its weaknesses, this is where they can create their list of things to overcome, their to-do list, if you will. For instance, if we own a construction company and the move is toward more energy efficient construction, but our company lacks experience, employees that have the experience in this type of environment, then we may want to hire some specialists in that area. Now, these 2 chapters kind of lay the foundation for establishing the company as a force in their industry. So pay very close attention to these. Activities for this week include reading chapters 2 and 3 and reviewing the PowerPoint slides. In MindTap, you'll complete the M2A1 guided case on SuperDry. In My Learning, you'll complete the M2A2 situational analysis paper name selection. This is where you'll just pick the name and give a brief summary for a later project. And then you also have the M2D1 Chapter 3 discussion on creating value. Now remember, your initial post should be submitted by midnight on Wednesday. That gives you the entire rest of the week to engage in meaningful conversation with the rest of the class. You'll also complete exam 1 that covers chapters 1 through 3. Now, I hope each of you has a great week, and I look forward to seeing your work in this class. Thank you.